Okay, it says we're live, and I am completely doing this without the help of my admin. So there's a very good chance I'm going to do this completely wrong, and I'm not broadcasting to the right channels, or who knows. But we'll see if anybody jumps in. As of right now, it's been 20 seconds, and we have 0 people. 27 seconds and 0 people. I don't even know if I'm broadcasting live to the right channel. So, hey, there's 3 people here. So maybe I did do this right. If you're watching the recorded version of this, the first couple minutes is going to be me trying to figure out if I set this up correctly, because I'm really good at disc golf and really terrible at technology. What's up, Wes Warren? Hello. Hey, so it's working on Facebook. That's a good sign. 13 people here. Who else is in here? Say hello if you're here. 13 people. I'm going to assume it means 1,300. Maybe. Who else is in here? Go ahead and text. Okay, I think everything will pull up. And actually text and say what page you're seeing this on, so I can confirm that this is that I set this up right. Hello, Michael. Yeah, I set this up myself without any help from my admin, and don't know what I'm doing. What's up, Joe? Grove. 18 people. Okay, so it is apparently working on Facebook. But which Facebook though? I broadcast to 4 different Facebook pages. Because I got my method page, my disc golfer page. Oh, and then someone from YouTube. Hello from Finland on YouTube. Love Finland. Hello. I'm glad. Thank you, Mike, for following. And I am also, because my admin is not able to get on right now. We have a problem with hotspot and Wi-Fi. We just entered a new country. We're in Serbia, and so I'm not going to have comments put up on the screen. So I'm going to have to be reading comments at the same time. So I'll be less efficient without her helping. Thank you, Joe. So yeah, it has been. By the way, Mike Butcher, it has been an amazing season. It's I'm currently in 5th place on the Euro Tour against the best players in Europe. Well, actually, a couple of the best players in Europe went over to the US for DGPT, but I mean, it's been a who's who of killers out there, and I'm sitting in 5th place after 8 events, and I was sick for 2 of them. And it's not like your best 5 of 8 events. I mean, it's counting points from all 8. So I only made it to 6 events, and I'm still in 5th place, which is pretty cool. No, thank you, Brazen. I appreciate that. So speaking of, learned a lot of your game from me. The purpose of this is that I have a couple upcoming disc golf retreats. This is something new that I'm doing that I'm excited about. The first 2 I just announced on StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com, and those that is multi-day retreats in locations that are also kind of vacation destinations. So the 2 that are coming up in a month, I just announced, are in Edinburgh, Scotland, and these retreats, it's well, everyone's going to be different, but the ones in Scotland are 3 days. It's going to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but Friday's it's optional. Like, honestly, it's going to be disc golfing, and we're going to go to Edinburgh Castle. So it's more like a recreational day. Intensive training on Saturday and Sunday, but it's in Edinburgh, Scotland, next to the most famous castle in all of the UK. Absolutely beautiful. So, like, included in this this disc golf training retreat, along with intensive disc golf instruction, so you're better at disc golf, we're also going to be going to the castle and doing fun stuff as well. So these are limited to 4 people. Like these multi-day retreats, I'm charging a little more for, but that's why I'm capping it at 4 people, so everybody gets all the attention they need. So if you want to get better at disc golf, go to StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com. All right, so if anybody has any questions about anything related to disc golf or anything, please shoot them over. That's kind of the purpose of these live streams. If you have questions about the multi-day retreats, that's even better. So please And by the way, I will explain more as long as we're here until the questions come in. Um, I did about 150 or 200 or something full day seminars all around the US, super effective, and everyone had a great time, got much better at disc golf. This is just an extension on that. It's going to be more one-on-one time because it's 2 days, but we're also going to be playing disc golf each day. The seminars were just out in the field throwing and putting for like 11 hours. This time we're going to get onto the course, so we'll be able to cover strategy, mental game, win, disc selection, things like that, and more time with the one-on-one, especially because it's 4 people instead of 6. That's automatically more one-on-one time with everybody. But then also we have a couple days, which means we can spend more time. And it's like I call it like my seminar on steroids because it's more of the same, but it's not just one day like overwhelm you and send you home. Now you're gonna have 3 days to really get good. Um, let's see. Someone said they had a question. John Papa Pork Bacon. That's a great name, by the way. Papa Pork Bacon. There's this disc spin the opposite way over there. No, the disc spin the exact same way over here in Europe. It spins the opposite way in Australia. Definitely worth learning of to say in Tennessee. Just from your 90-minute clinic at Nashville, you improved your distance 20% by sticking my left foot on my drive. There you go, right? I mean, it's none of this is easy. It's simple stuff. It's hard to self-assess. It's hard to just watch yourself and then correct yourself. I mean, that is, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. That's why I also have a 6-month online class at scottstokely.net that has an unlimited number of form reviews that come with the class. There's multiple different ways that you can learn to disc golf from me. The online class, you're constantly throughout the 6-month class uploading videos of yourself during different parts of this method through this process, getting feedback on what to change from one of the trainers that have been with me for more than a year, and they're amazing. You're a 50-year-old and a bigger guy. How can I get better hip rotation? Because I have a belly that gets in the way. All right, John Papa Pork Bacon, which is good. Which is a great question with you after you like with the name. God, I wish I want to be that's like totally politically correct modern millennial person, but you're a 50-year-old and I'm a 50-year-old, and we grew up in the 70s, and that's not how that's not how we've learned to coach one another from our generation. So I'm going to be straight with you. If you have a belly that gets in the way, but you're trying to get better hip rotation, the answer is to make the belly smaller. And please don't hate on me, internet, for saying something that was so obvious 10 years ago that now triggers everyone. But that's the truth. I mean, it's not about disc golf. It's about taking care of yourself, being around for your kids and your grandkids even longer. And it doesn't matter what led to this point today. Up till today, tomorrow is a brand new day that you can reinvent yourself. And if disc golf and throwing better is a motivation to do that, and then hey, I'm throwing better at disc golf, and by the way, I'm going to live 10 more years, like, then that's a win. And that's me being honest with you and giving you the honest answer and not the bullshit answer you're supposed to give, so I don't offend anybody. I would say wake up tomorrow morning and start this part of your life over and make changes to it. And one of the benefits is your hips will rotate more and you'll throw farther. If you unsubscribe from me, you probably won't. If you were a millennial, you would have already unsubscribed. How dare you insinuate that I should be healthy? But that's the honest to God truth, Ron. All right. When did you figure out that you like the one finger forehand then two? So Brazen Flood, I've always thrown with 2 fingers. The thing about grip is grip will always be individual. There will never be a single correct grip in disc golf. It's like, I promise you, in 1,000 years, when artificial intelligence has made us all their slaves and they parade us out to the disc golf course / Coliseum for their entertainment, and you have to win the disc golf gladiator battle to live, and we've perfected the sport, there's still going to be a wide range of grips. Our hands are different. It's just the reality. So 2 fingers are stronger than 1. Try to throw with 2 fingers, index finger with middle finger above it, middle finger with index finger Above that, middle finger with index finger bent. All three of those are valid 2-finger grips. But if you've played with all these grips and then you pop the middle finger off and you get a better throw with one finger, I give you permission to throw with one finger. Your hand dictates your grip, not you. So try to throw with two. You can throw with one and have a great sidearm for sure. How many countries have I been to from Joe Rosino, and how many more to go? We just entered our 35th country in the last year today, as a matter of fact. We entered into Serbia. How many more to go? How many more are they? We're not stopping. There's no plan on stopping here. We're going from here to Bosnia, then we're back into Europe where we've no new countries. Off to Scotland to run these multi-day training seminars available at StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com. You can read about them. Limited to 4 per weekend. So if you want to become one of the 4 people I work with, get your ticket now. And then from here, we're going to well, after we go to Spain for the championships, maybe Egypt, maybe Kenya, Southeast Asia again, Laos, maybe Vietnam. Yeah, we're not stopping. Okay, all right. I got a great question. Jeff Vanderwinkle. Wait, it's not Winkle. Vanderwinkle. No, it is Winkle. It's the weird spelling of Winkle. Jeff Vanderwinkle. I'm a 56-year-old sidearm guy. What kind of things can I do to prevent elbow and shoulder injury? Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a longer answer, but I don't give short answers because those are shortcuts. Shortcuts don't work. So the first thing I will tell you is that there's a difference between being sore and being injured. Okay, so things being you're playing a sport, like you're taking this object, trying to accelerate it as fast as possible, which means you're trying to move your body to the limit of your physical ability. You're pushing your body. You're playing a sport. It is acceptable to feel soreness when you play a sport. It's not rugby. It's not, it's not football. It's not, but we're still playing a sport. So being sore is different to being injured. Injured is when you have something that prevents you from playing, prevents your performance. It's something that doesn't get better in time. That's not acceptable. So here's my answer to that. I'm going to start by talking about backhand first, and then I'll get to sidearm. With proper backhand technique, I believe observationally, almost 50 years in the sport, that you can throw a backhand your entire life, and you can throw it really well and really far and never get injured and close to not even being sore. Backhand is an incredibly low impact throw mechanically. So you shouldn't expect anything to not feel good. If at worst, a little soreness because you're pushing your muscles, right? Pushing your body. Not the same with the sidearm. Mechanically, the sidearm is using your body, using your arm differently in a different motion than the backhand. And it is a higher stress, higher strain motion, which means when you throw a sidearm correctly, even though you're throwing it correctly, you can get sore in your rotator cuff, bursa sac, just basically up here, and you can also get sore in your elbow. The fact that you're sore in your elbow or up here does not automatically mean you're doing something wrong. Obviously, it could mean you did something wrong, but often pain means you did something wrong, right? Well, it hurts. What did you do wrong? Not the case with the sidearm. You can throw correctly with the sidearm and still feel sore. That's not injured. So first off, give yourself a little slack. If your elbow's sore from throwing sidearms all day, you wake up the next morning, you feel okay, might not mean you're doing it wrong. Okay, having said that, injury is not okay. And the way to mitigate that is with complete proper technique. And I'm apologize. I'm not just trying to use your question to segue into trying to sell you something. But one of the benefits if you come to my 6-month or do my 6-month online class, become a complete disc golfer at scottstokely.net. If you come to my multi-day training retreat in Scotland, message me for details, or go to StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com. One of the things I do in my demonstrations of the sidearm is after I teach you all the different things to put them together, I say, now I'm going to throw a sidearm here. And this is not going to be, wow, look how far I throw, right? Lots of people these days throw sidearms far. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to ask you to just watch my. The reason I want you to watch my arm is I'm going to throw, and this is nowhere near as far as I can throw, but I'm going to throw about a 450-foot sidearm, and my arm is going to look like I'm throwing an approach shot. And that is my way of demonstrating the technique. The way I teach it is look at how far the disc flies when your arm only has to go that fast. Because when you put all the pieces together with the correct timing, it doesn't take a lot of effort to get a disc to fly very far. When you watch me throw sidearm, it doesn't look like I'm throwing hard, and the disc flies a long ways. So the reason why that isn't leading to an answer to your question is, how do you prevent injury when you throw a sidearm, or even extreme soreness? Well, when your arm only goes this fast and it looks like it's fairly effortless and it's smooth and you're not even putting anything into it and it still flies really far, that's really low impact. That's a low impact motion on your body. And if you have that low of an impact motion on your arm, the chances of injury go way down, and even the soreness goes way down. Sorry, it's a very long answer, but there's no shortcut answers. Well, the trick to not getting injured is make sure you hydrate properly, or like whatever, you know, one sentence answer you're going to read on the internet when you ask that question, which is doesn't tell you anything. So the answer is proper technique means you're putting in less effort for more results. The less effort, the less arm speed you have to get more results. Clearly, the less impact it is on your arm. And the way to learn the proper technique is to take my classes. All right, Dave Quinn says, I can throw forehand without pain now. Not much distance, but pain-free. I've had 12 surgeries, aches, in the past 24 years, and throwing pain-free is consistent with throwing the best way. You taught me that. Thank you. Dave Quinn, thank you for the endorsement. I appreciate that. That basically, I didn't see your question, but that is addressing what I just said, which is when you throw the right way, it is low impact. I always just like to preface it by saying sidearm is a higher impact throw, that we can still get sore throwing sidearms. Even me, like I don't, like, I'm basically completely pain free now. But if I went out and threw full speed sidearms all day, I mean, eventually I'm going to get sore too. I mean, it's just reality. John, Papa Pork Bacon, thank you, boss. No hate here, my friend. All right, I appreciate that. You know, it's funny that you actually bring that up, because one of the things that I've been talking about doing is just launching a general health and fitness like club group. You know, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on certain topics, but like I'm 53 years old. I'm about to be 54, and I am in the literal best shape of my life. Like these 25-year-old kids are sucking wind behind me as we're going up the hills. And by sucking wind, that's probably a lie. But I'm not sucking wind behind them. I'm certainly keeping up with them physically, with no injuries, and I'm healthy and I feel good. And I kind of want to bring people along on the things that I'm doing. So go to scottstokely.net, get in my mailing list, and I'll alert you when I do this. But this is not going to be a training regimen, although I do have a trainer that will come in occasionally that can do one-on-ones and give, you know, professional advice in her area of expertise. But really what it's going to be is just a club where we all get together and we're going to set goals together. And you know, like, I'll be honest with you, I would, you, not you specifically, just anybody listening, if I said something that made you play better, that makes me feel so good. But if I do something that helps you live longer, that's like 1,000 times better. So I think we can do this. Get scottstokely.net, get on the list. All right, Peyton Mills, you're a bigger guy and agree with this. Definitely working. You've helped me a lot. Awesome, man. I love that. Thank you guys for making me feel better about giving like the honest answer. I was worried. Unfortunately, would love to join one of your classes. Unfortunately, getting a daughter through college is expensive. Thanks for the YouTube videos in the meantime. That is no problem, man. I just got my daughter through college. She graduated last year. I understand. I will pay, just to let you know, my online class, it's $50 a month. You can do it monthly, $50 a month for 6 months. So I know that's not free, right? That's still real money. But if you break it up over 6 months, it actually is pretty, I think, fairly reasonable. Dave Quint, 59, and you're right. Tell it how it is, like always. Got to take care of yourself. Best way to lose that belly is to table pushaways. I'm not as good at those as I should be. Just got to do it. Tell the truth, Scott, like always. I will. I'll always be honest with everybody, and then I always try to do it in like this really friendly, self-deprecating, charming way. But I will not give a bullshit answer. You know, when someone, because I've taught more in-person disc golf than anybody, right? And when somebody at a seminar or the clinic says to me, like I never bring up getting into physical shape. No one pays for my clinic to hear about what they should eat. That's not why they're there. So I don't bring it up. And when I see someone who's bigger and I see that they're struggling because they're bigger, I never approach them and say, "Hey, you know what you need to do?" Because that's a very personal thing. It's none of my business. Often though, someone comes up to me and they say, "Hey, do you think if I, got rid of this, I'd play better?" And this is my response. Yes, of course. Why are you asking me? You already know the answer. So if you ask me, you're gonna get I'm gonna give you the straight answer, but I never approach anybody. Um, are there retreats? Here we go. Oh, sorry. Oh, wow, that worked. I didn't know that worked. I could bring them on the screen. Oh, I'm getting so good at this. Are there retreats for any skill level players? I've been playing about 2 years, but I still throw every shot standstill because I can't get a run up and time me down. Brian, the retreats are for people of all skill levels for sure. This is the thing about the method that I teach. So let me explain. When I say the Stokely disc golf method, if you haven't heard this before, it is not a different method of throwing. Okay, everyone that plays professional disc golf or teaches professional disc golf, like we are 97% in agreement on the right way to throw. So it's not about my method is not a different way of throwing. My method is the Stokely method is my method of teaching, which is different than anyone else in the sport because I don't put out fires. I don't say, "Oh, you need to do this, drop your shoulder, turn your hips earlier." Like I've watched that and I've watched it not work for decades. Every single person, I don't care if you've been playing 20 years or 2 months, starts off at the ground level. This is my method. We start ground up and we go, you start with this, you do this thing. You're not doing anything else until you're doing this step. Oh, you got that step down. Now you're going to add this step. And it's layer to layer to layer. And this is the approach, the only one I believe works. And so I have worked with 1,000 rated players before. Eventually, it's not going to be long where I'm going to get the opportunity. Well, I worked with Cole Redolin, like on his putting last year, and it's kind of going well for him. But eventually, I expect to be coaching 1040 players because eventually the culture of the sport will get there. But for now, I have coached 1,000 rated players, and I say to them, when they want to work with me, they go, "Can you fix this one thing I'm doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need an hour." And they're like, "An hour to fix one thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, because we're starting at the bottom." So everybody starts at the exact same place and works their way up. Doesn't matter if you're young, old. We talked about this a minute ago, but it doesn't matter if you're thin or overweight. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Doesn't matter if you're professional or amateur. The physical laws of the universe don't care how long you've been playing or your gender or any of that stuff. There's a right way your body needs to move. So we will start you at the ground up. We will add step after step, and yeah, you kind of need to have a run up. I mean, like this is one of the biggest. Like put the run up together, and you're throwing like 30% farther the next day. It's probably the biggest thing you can gain like that. But if you're doing it right, if you put together a run up and your timing's off and your mechanics are off, you're probably thinking, well, my standstill flies farther. Yeah, proper mechanics with a standstill will fly farther than bad timing with a run up for sure. But proper mechanics, proper timing on a run up is not even close to how much farther you'll throw and better. All right. Let's see. Jack, I am 64 and new to the game. Welcome, Jack. You're one of my people, us older people sticking together. I'm starting out by learning to putt before the long game. Is that the right way to learn? So my opinion's no. My opinion is oops, hold on. I can click show. So my opinion is you can learn the whole game at once. I don't like I have a layered approach to each step by step. When you're putting, I have you work on certain things to figure out your body's mechanics before we figure out what putt you are, etc. Those like within each segment of the different skills, there's a linear approach, step by step, right? But I don't think you need to just work on one thing before moving to something else. I think you can work on the whole game. Ironically, this is something very interesting. And this is not something I did on purpose. But if any of you here have been to my seminars or clinics, you'll recognize this. The fundamentals of the backhand, the basic fundamental backhand throw is a full power distance throw. Once you have the fundamental mechanics, you actually modify your throw to throw shorter, throw finesse shots or approach shots. Now that's crazy. And I never would have like intentionally done it in that order. That seems completely backwards. But I didn't try to force a teaching method based on my preconceived ideas of like the order in which you learn things. I created this method based on the fundamental biomechanics of how the body moves. And it turned out that the fundamental things you must do, you got to plant your foot first. Well, that creates snap. That's a power throw. You want your weight above your hips for faster rotation. Faster rotation is power. You pull the disc across the body where you have the most strength, not where you're weaker. That's power. Like it literally inadvertently turned out that the fundamental mechanics are all like maximizing your body's ability, power. And then from there, you actually have to change things to throw shorter. So it's actually even the opposite. It actually starts with a correct mechanical power throw. But yeah, you gotta have. Oh wait, I skipped ahead. Oh, I saw that was the wrong person's up there. That was Jack's question. I'll go ahead and put it on there. Oops, wait. How do you do this? So there's Jack. All right, that's a question I just answered. So no, you can learn every throw. Come to my treats or sign up for my online class. Message me. All right. Scott is. Let's see. It says Scott is one of my favorite people on this planet. I really appreciate that. I have to try so hard not to get a big head because everybody's so nice to me, and I try to reciprocate, but it's when I hear things like that, it's like let me tell you this: anytime someone says that, I never just go, of course. Like it's always something that I appreciate, and thank you so much. Scott is real. Thank you. Do I have any stretch? Oh, here we go. Do I stretch or do yoga regularly to maintain flexibility? So I don't. I My stretching mostly involves playing. I am not flexible, but I'm not unflexible for some of my age. I'm probably about average. I It's out of my area of expertise. Like the thing about yoga is enough people swear by it that there's probably something to it. It wouldn't be as popular as it was if it wasn't. I think with the yoga, and please don't get mad at me, yoga instructors who are watching, but I think that some of the yoga stuff that kind of turned me off to it is some of the metaphysical energy of stuff that a lot of people find the value in the meditation part of it, and that just isn't the way my brain works or functions. So I can't really speak on the value of that. However, I do know a lot of yoga is great for strength. It's great for joint mobility. It's great for flexibility. I do believe, especially as you get older, that you need to maintain a certain amount of joint mobility and flexibility to stay healthy. And so I think yoga uh, would be one of those solutions to maintaining physical health. So I'm definitely not anti-yoga. It's just not. I can't sit still that long. To be honest, like I can't. The idea of like anything that resembles meditation, like my brain just doesn't work that way. But again, there's really smart people that do yoga and they meditate and they find tremendous value in it. And there's scientific evidence scientific data that meditation can do all sorts of provide physical benefits to your body and well-being. So I'm not anti-yoga. It just doesn't work with my brain. Let's see. Hey, Scott, thanks for everything you do. Keep it up. Absolutely. Stokely sauce. Please give it a plug. It's the best. And oh, wait, hold on. I got the sign here. Stokely sauce. Please give it a plug. It's the best and has good ingredients. I have all three folks in my family with dietary restrictions, and not only does it taste great, it works for all of them. Thank you. Yeah, I have Stokely barbecue sauce at scottstokely.net, and I've not sold as many as as I intended when I got into the barbecue business. Um, I made some really big fun. Well, I made two big errors with the Stokely barbecue sauce. Because the sauce is good. I mean, it's absolutely positively delicious. And it uses sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup, which costs me like $1 a bottle more, which on the wholesale level is like, it means I was paying $4 a bottle instead of 3. It's a huge difference at bulk. Um, Here's the two mistakes I made when I decided to start selling Stokely sauce. The first one, well, I'll go to the stupid one second. I'll say the probably the biggest one first is I didn't take into account how much they weigh. And when you buy 4 bottles of sauce, even if I sold them, even if I gave them away for free, the cost of shipping makes them more expensive than the sauce you buy in a store. So you have to really want to buy them because you're supporting what I do, or you think it's cool that there's a disc golf barbecue sauce. But I didn't take into account how expensive shipping would be for people, and that's kind of been a barrier. But the second big mistake I made is I actually, so I thought I thought that if I stuck my face on barbecue sauce, it would make people want it. Turns out, um, I don't know, my face maybe sells golf discs, but my popularity doesn't extend to um, meat flavorizers. So I'm trying. I keep laughing at the barbecue sauce because if I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry. I've told this story before, but this is the truth. I actually I actually said these words to Adriana, these exact words. I said, "Hey, just a heads up when you look at our in our account, I just spent $20,000 on barbecue sauce." I actually said that to her. That's funny. But the funny follow up is when I say to you is that if anybody needs $19,000 worth of barbecue sauce, hit me up and I can help you out. So thank you for the plug. Oh, Paul says didn't realize it was that affordable. Where is it? Said didn't realize it was that affordable. Yeah, so the 6 month online class, it's $50 a month for 6 months. There's multiple classes each month. That's an unlimited number. Okay, it's at scottstokely.net. It's an unlimited number of form reviews because if my class was just videos and instructions, to me that's kind of YouTube. This is what my class is different is that I have 3 of the most qualified trainers. Like I love these guys; they're so good. Doing an unlimited number of form reviews. So when you take the class and you're asked to work on a certain layer, a certain step, then after you are working on that step, you send videos and we tell you if you're doing it right. And if you're not doing it right, we send you back until you get it right because my experience, thousands of players and thousands of players later is that if you're not doing this part and you try to do this part, even if you get this part right, it's going to be messed up because your core is not working right. So we have to make sure each step is you're progressing it the right way. But the end result is everybody's throwing correctly afterwards. You're like with the backhand, you have to have you have to be accomplishing 4 things by the time we're done. The disc has to come out without wobble. The disc has to come out with snap. Um, the disc has to come out without the nose up, and you need to be hitting your lines. And by the way, the snap is kind of a correlation to distance, but it's hard to quantify distance. If you're older or younger, it's like distance is kind of going to vary quite a bit. But having snap means you're maximizing distance for you. So those are the 4 things you're going to get out of the class. And the purpose of this video is that I have in next month 2 multi-day training retreats. I'm calling them. They're multi-day classes in Edinburgh, Scotland. Basically, it's 3 days. Day 1 is optional, but don't miss day 1. We're going to play a round of disc golf at the highest rated course in Scotland, and go to Edinburgh Castle, which is, there's more to Scotland than just disc golf. But the Saturday, Sunday is going to be intensive, like 8 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. Intense training session for 2 days, a round of golf each day, but intense training for 2 days. go to StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com or write me for details. And there's only 4 spots available each weekend. These training retreats I've set up, unlike my seminars, which I do either 6 or 7 players in an 11-hour day, this is set up for 2 days and it's 4 players instead of 6 or 7 to be a much more intense experience. So um, when it comes to the actual training part, expect it to be, I don't want to say it's not fun because that would be terrible marketing. It's going to be fun, but the goal of it isn't fun. The goal of it is, hey, in 48 hours, you're gonna know what the hell you're doing, and you're gonna be playing significantly better, and then not getting hurt later and throwing farther and all that cool stuff. So, and then the online classes, ScottStokely.net. Your arm is always sore, but I'm sure I don't stretch enough and have shitty form. Oh, hold on, I got to put it on the board. My arm is always sore, but I'm sure I don't stretch enough and always have shitty form. Okay, the stretching may help, but it's the shitty form. Like, here's the way. Okay, this is. Guys, I'll give you some more kind of data on like the biomechanics of how I teach, why this is so important. And let's start with the understanding that all of our bodies are different. Okay, we all have we're all different shapes and sizes. We have different amounts of muscle mass in different areas. Our joints have different ranges of motion from one another. We have different flexibility. Each of us may be dealing with injuries. We have scar tissue. Like, we all have a different machine we're working with. So the way I teach is there cannot be an exact foot angle, hip angle. That it's impossible to do that because we have different machines we're throwing with. It's about finding how your body individually moves and then throwing within those parameters. So think about any type of machine with a bunch of hinges, a bunch of moving parts, right? You can have a hinge because this is not metal, so there's flexibility in the tendons and the joints can move a little bit to a point. So think about a machine, like a robot, a disc golf robot with flexible parts to a point, right? But think about each of the hinges that have a range of motion that they can move in that's like this wide. But here is where that hinge moves in its most fluid motion. It's the kind of its default setting. It's where it wants to move. When it moves the way it's supposed to, it can last forever. When it moves at the fringe, it's always pulling on all the parts of that hinge. And again, just think about an actual machine. Our bodies are machines. Think about a machine where the moving parts are moving fluidly, they can, the machine can do this motion here, 250,000 times when they test it without it having a problem. But if you were to push it to the side, right, instead of it moving this way, you push it to the side this way, is it still going to go 250,000 times this way, or is it constantly grinding somewhere on this part, which means that it starts to break down after 50,000, and then from 50,000 to 100,000 it goes but had it been right here where it wants to move, it can go 250,000 times before it starts to wear out. Like, that's the way mechanics work, right? Well, that's the way our bodies are. So the way I teach is a lot of it is about finding it has to move within the range of your body. Now, this does not mean you get to throw any way you want to, right? That's bullshit. You're not allowed to just whatever feels right. You can't just have your own style. Like, there's a right and a wrong way to throw, but within that right and wrong way to throw, your body has to move the way your body moves naturally. And one more thing I'm going to add to that, which is the coolest part, is that there is a 100%, it's a 1-to-1 correlation. When your body moves the way it's supposed to, it's also going to move where it's strongest and fastest, which means the way that is the lowest impact on your body mechanically, the one that prevents the most injuries, at the exact same time is also the motion that'll allow you to throw the farthest and throw the most consistent. And this is cool because earlier I've said, like, I come from the 70s style of coaching. If it turned out that in my experience, there was one way that prevented you from getting injured and another way of throwing that allowed you to throw farther, I would have no problem with teaching you how to throw farther. right? Like this is old school, but I would say to everybody, look, you're playing a sport. If you want to throw far, it's going to hurt. Suck it up. You know, put on your big boy or big girl pants and deal with the fact. You want to get good at sports, you're going to be hurting your body. Like I would say that unapologetically and tell people how to throw the farthest. It's a complete coincidence that it turns out that I don't have to do that. The right way to throw mechanically on your body happens to also be how you throw the farthest. So, what I teach, that's how I teach. Mark McAllister, holy cow. Mark McAllister, love hearing from you. It worked for you. Since the original book, The Stokely Method, and 3 videotapes in the early 2000s, I took the info and won the world distance title 2 times, along with 11 other distance titles. Thank you, Mark McAllister. It's so happy to hear from you. Mark is, I'll tell you a quick story about Mark McAllister. I'm in Kentucky. I'm at Otter Creek, I think, and I'm doing a clinic there, probably around 2000. And everybody's like, they're, this is when I had the world distance records and all this stuff, right? And then they're like, "Hey, we got a 15-year-old kid here that says he can beat you throwing distance," and I'm like, bring it on, bitch. I didn't actually use those words, but that's what I heard in my head. Like I'm I'm the nicest guy in the world, but I'm still competitive, right? And I'm like, really, some 15-year-old kid thinks they're going to beat me at distance, and yeah, Mark threw really, really far. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. I think I beat you, but I mean, it was very close. And by the way, if I got that wrong and you beat me, I'm old. I don't remember anything from 23 years ago, but I don't think a lot of people beat me back then. But I do remember watching you throw and going, Jesus Christ, who the hell is this kid? Turns out he learned all this stuff from my books and stuff. So thank you, Mark, for the endorsement. I appreciate it. I'll be sending you some money on PayPal for making up that story about. Anyways, he didn't make it up. He's really good. All right. Jack, thank you, Scott. I'll change up my approach to the game. Thanks for keeping it real. Absolutely. Let's see. I'll never forget that forehand. Nichols says, I'll never forget that forehand shot on Skins. Was it $9,000 and you donated all the kids? You're the man, Scott. Actually, it was $14,000. The $9,000 was bonus money, but there was $5,500 in Skins money that I said I'll donate all my Skins money before the event. When Dave was announcing that he had done this fundraiser to create this crowdsourcing thing to give to raise bonus money to the winner of the entire Skins, he told me when he said, he goes, Scott, because he's been my friend forever, and he knows that I've been very poor for a lot of my life. He goes, Scott, you have to promise me. I know you're giving away your Skins money, all the Skins money you win. He goes, promise me, if you win the bonus money for winning the most Skins, promise me you're going to keep that money. And I'm like, fine. Like, am I really, really going to win? To be honest, I didn't really think I was going to win. And I said, fine, Dave, I promise you I'll keep the bonus money if I win. I said, but all my Skins money, if I win any Skins, I'm going to donate to Hope for Autism. And so I ended up winning $5,500 in actual Skins money. Now, the cool thing is I had an anonymous donor that said they would match all of my donations. So I actually got to send $11,000 to Hope for Autism, which they used to create, believe it or not, this is how these small organizations, what a budget they're on, they took that $11,000 and they actually opened up an entire new program with just $11,000 because that was a ton of money to them. But only half of that money came from me. The other half was from, I can't say who. He wants to be anonymous. But yeah, I got to give him $11,000. And I will never forget it. There's actually, if you go to notjustashot.com, there's actually a documentary out about that shot. Alvin says, what is your experience with winter disc golf? You should come back to Skellefteå in the winter for some great content. Okay, well, I'll tell you my experience with winter disc golf. It's a fantastic sport when you're younger. I'm afraid I can't do the winter golf anymore. I feel so soft for saying this, but I have aged out of playing in the snow. By the way, I'm not. If I was in Skellefteå on and there was a big New Year's Day tournament, of course I'm going to go play like everyone else. But I generally try to avoid that. In fact, the whole reason we're going to Africa and Southeast Asia this winter is because I pretty much was committed to not being in the Northern Hemisphere for any more winters for the rest of my life. I've become a fair weather golfer, so fair weathered person. Now, what I did find out though, so I actually, having said that, now wait a second here. Wait, I'm gonna get back up here. I may be in Skellefteå in the winter though, because I wanted to go see the aurora borealis, the northern lights. When I was in, I was, Skellefteå is very close to the Arctic Circle, and I said, we're going to take a few days. We're going to drive up to the Arctic Circle and see the northern lights. And come to find out, it's a winter thing, not a not a summer thing, and I didn't even know that. So if I want to go see that, it'll have to be in the winter. So here's my promise for you: if I come up there and I do this in the winter, which I sure would like to do at some point in my life, I will. It'll almost certainly be at a Skellefteå because my friends Tomas and Svante live up there, and I would like to visit them if I'm going to be doing this. And I will come to Skellefteå and golf. Promise. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Dickie Dixon. Will I be planning any seminars at a beach location? Possibly. I have a couple locations in mind where I would like to do some of these seminars. Right now, I've announced Scotland. I want to do Cambodia for sure. I possibly, well, there's multiple places in Southeast Asia. So there's the Philippines. There's Taiwan. There's obviously Malaysia has a bunch of courses. So I think the two places in Asia I'm leaning towards most. Cambodia is number one. Because it's right next to Angkor Wat, and there's a bunch of cool stuff out there. And then also Kuala Lumpur, which is just an amazing city with tons to do. That's my Southeast Asia winter retreats. But I have been looking into Belize, and I want each of these retreats to be something special or unique about them. So, like, if we do the Belize, it's going to be packaged with a scuba. It's going to be a scuba trip. You disc golfing in the morning, training in the morning. It might be like a 7-day retreat, but we're only doing half days because we do it like a 2-tank dive in the afternoon. So the idea would be there. So Belize is very high on my list. I'll probably announce something there at some point. Love watching you win the skins purse. Awesome. Also watching you on your travels. Love the impaler segment. Such a horrible thing to say, but I have reached that there's this line, like when you get to a certain age where you're allowed to get pissed off at kids for being on your lawn, and it's acceptable socially. By the way, I don't have a lawn, but if I did have a lawn, by the way, the thing he's referring to, what I said on my video was, and I'll try to say it the way I said it on the video. We were at Dracula's castle, and Dracula is based on Vlad the Impaler, this wonderful historical figure who liked to skewer people and put him out in front of his castle to scare away invading armies. So what I said is that I said, never have I ever even considered running spikes through my friends and family and impaling them and then sticking them out in my front yard. However, never have I ever figured out how to keep the neighborhood kids off my lawn either. Just saying. I don't know. Something like that. It sounded good at the time. I probably just butchered it. I love condiments. It's my favorite. I love condiments. It's my favorite food group. You know what my favorite food group is? And I'm so pissed off because I can't do it anymore. I mean, I can, but not the way I used to like to. Like, if I could only eat, that question, what if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? It 100% would be sweet breakfast cereal. Like I could easily eat Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles, Frosted Flakes, like Tricks, Lucky Charms. Like I could easily live off that the rest of my life. But I know I pay the price when I do that. So my favorite food group is kids cereals. My Michael, love your video. Hoping your school can help me throw farther. I'm 55, just getting started because of my kids. I have 9, and most of them play. Jesus Christ! So disc golf isn't the only thing you're proficient at. Um, Probably shouldn't have said that, but can't take it back. It's live. Michael, I hope you. Yeah, if you take my online class, like there's 100% for sure you're gonna throw farther. Like that's just not even a question. This like the proper technique. Like there's nothing I teach that's gonna make you throw less far. Like there's nothing where like there's like I don't even know if this would exist in sports, but there's nothing in the way I teach where someone throws farther and I go, we're gonna change this thing. You're not gonna throw as far, but you're gonna be more accurate and score better. Like no, the correlation to throwing far and throwing accurate are the same thing. They're it's correct technique, correct timing, correct mechanics, correct your body's biomechanics. So you will throw farther. Of course you will, for sure, if you take my class. Um, let me by let me go ahead and oh, good, Mark. I'm happy to hear that, Mark. Let me go ahead and give the quick plug then. There's the 2 things I'm pushing on this. I have 2 upcoming multi-day disc golf retreats in Scotland. They're in a month. It's in Edinburgh. It's they're 3 days. The first day is optional, but don't miss the first day because we're going to Edinburgh Castle and playing around at disc golf at the #1 rated course in the UK. But the second day 2 and day 3 are the intensive training days that you're coming for. But the first day is included in the price, right? So there's no reason to not do all 3 days. These classes, there's only 2 of them, are their retreats. I'm limiting them to 4 players per retreat. If you ever followed my full day seminars, it was either 6 or 7 people for an 11-hour day. This is multi-day, and I'm doing 4 people on purpose, which is probably bad business on my part. I'd make a lot more money if I did 6, but I'm doing 4 because I want this to be the most intensive. Like you show up and then 3 days later you're like, hell yeah, I'm way better now and I get this game. So I did it 4 people on purpose to make sure that because it's a big investment. You're gonna have to fly into Scotland. I mean, it's not a small trip. So I want it to be very special, but more importantly, I want to make sure that you get all the attention so you are crushing afterwards. So thank you. So come, that's it. The retreat is at StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com, or you can message me. And then I have my online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer at ScottStokely.net. It's a 6-month class with an unlimited number of video form reviews that I encourage everybody to check out if you can't fly to Scotland. Thank you, Joe. The sound effect on the worn out hinge. Yeah, Mark McAllister did point out that I did beat him by 15 or 20 feet, but well over 500 for both of us. Yeah, this is back with Speed 6 discs, too. So this was, yeah, Mark smashed. He still smashes. Like, Mark's great. We played I played around with him at, God, where the hell was it? He starts, it was the first hole on, the very first hole. Like, this is how far he still throws. This is just a couple years ago at Dynamic Discs Open. We step up to the first hole 1. It's a par 5, and he parks it on his second shot, parks it for a tap in eagle. Like he's like probably 45 years old now, so he still crushes. Dylan Keeney says, I had reconstructive surgery on my left shoulder, which was my dominant hand. Since then, I picked up disc golf to gain dexterity. I learned more about developing a forehand from you than anyone. Thank you. You've always been an inspiration, both with the solid play and awesome charity work. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love every time someone says something nice. Like I never not feel something when you take the time to write and say that. I love that. And you've had, you said you picked up disc golf to gain dexterity. I mean, I hope it helped. I mean, it's, our bodies are difficult, and our like joints are one of those things that, like, when they go bad, they they don't always come back. So if you're actually using disc golf to bring dexterity back, that's amazing, and I'm happy to hear that. And yeah, I will tell you that my 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 multi-day training retreats, my online class. You can message me for details on both of those. But yeah, like I said, the way I teach to throw is not going to make you worse. One of the things, it's been a strange thing for me because when I'm out there now competing with the best, I'm still playing MPO with the best players in the entire world. And honestly, at this point now, probably 40% of them throw backhands farther than me. Like, a lot of them rip backhand farther for sure, but I'm still throwing farther than more than half of the kids out there. And I'm 53 years old. That's backhand. Sidearm, I still throw sidearm farther than all of them. And I'm out there playing injury free. I'm not even sore. And so, as a scientist or a scientific minded person, a sample size of one person does not mean that doesn't prove anything. It's just, it suggests that maybe there's something to the way I teach and the way I throw, because I'm such an outlier and I'm not hurt. It really helps. Yes. Oh, so Mike Hall says Scotland and disc golf are a great combo. Pete and putt. Well, then come to Edinburgh, Scotland next month for one of my multi-day disc golf retreats. Message me for details, but yeah, Scotland's cool. So when we travel, we enjoy everywhere we go, but everywhere's different for sure, and there's pros and cons to every place. There's a lot of cool stuff about England, but there's some cons to it, just like everywhere. When we got up to Scotland, it seemed like it had all the pros that England had, and maybe some of the. Oh boy, it sounds like I don't want to say anything bad about England. I got people there that might come to the seminar. How do I phrase this? Um, it felt a little bit like more rural and a little bit safer and a little bit more exotic, I guess. England was a little bit more like the US with an accent, where Scotland seemed to be culturally different, I guess is what I'm trying to say more than anything. It just seemed a little bit more of if you're taking a vacation destination, you're going to go to England or Scotland. Scotland's more of a different experience than being in the US than maybe the UK is, I guess is how I would put that. Please don't get mad at me, England. I said UK, England. I mean, don't get mad at me, England. I loved England and had a great time, and I can't wait to come back. But Scotland was definitely different. It's in Edinburgh, by the way. Glasgow is so different than Edinburgh. Like, Glasgow is, like, I was so sure I was going to get my ass kicked. Like, when I was in Glasgow, we were staying downtown, and every time I walked out to the store, I'm like, I just felt like someone's going to come out of the bar and want to fight me. And I wouldn't even say get my ass kicked. I'm not. I can scrap pretty well, but um, they run in groups, so I don't know. Just kind of got that vibe from Glasgow. Then you go over to Edinburgh, and it's kind of like hip and artsy, and it just had a whole different vibe to it. It's more expensive. Um, I wouldn't even say like Edinburgh's better than Glasgow. It's what you're looking for. I mean, you want to go see a great punk show, like it's Glasgow. Like, that's where you're going to get your punk scene. Like, that's where you're going to get a lot of your like alternative scene. And like there's a lot of stuff at Glasgow that's just really grungy and dirty and really cool, like that energy. Edinburgh's kind of like the people that have the money to not live in Glasgow and go to Edinburgh. And so it's just a different vibe. I like them both though. Hey, Marcus Leitonen. Hello from Finland. Hello from Finland, back at you. I loved Finland. I can't wait to go back. Dylan Keeney, super sincere. I throw right-handed now. Pain was too much after rounds, but smooth mechanics has helped quite a bit. Scotland sounds amazing. Well, yeah, I mean, Scotland it is amazing. Um, we're gonna be. I'm gonna be doing these multi-day retreats. Some of them like weekend retreats. Some of them I'll be doing like 7-day retreats. Like if you're going all the way to Southeast Asia, like it's not going to be a 2-day retreat. That's too big of a trip for 2 days. Scotland, you could get on a plane in New York and fly there for like $150 or something like it. And you can fly probably under $100 from anywhere in Europe to Scotland. So it's like that could be like a 3-day weekend. But what I'm going to be doing is I want to pick destinations all over the world that all have something different for a different type of person. For instance, like we spent all winter just about in Southeast Asia, and being from America, when I looked at Southeast Asia, when I looked at Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand and Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam, they all kind of seemed very similar to me. I knew they were different, but I still kind of looped them all together. Having been there, they're so different from one another. Like they're like night and day. I mean, like they're really, really different. And so I want to do a training retreat in Cambodia, and I also want to do one in Thailand. I didn't announce that earlier, but Cambodia and Thailand. Cambodia is going to be for the people that want to go to Angkor Wat and they want to tour historical temples, and there's not a lot of partying going on. There's not a whole lot of nightlife. It's not that type of scene. It's going to be rice paddies and hanging out with locals, and the non-disc golf stuff will be like getting on a boat down like a river with houses built on stilts where the people that live in the houses fish and with nets in the water, and if they don't catch fish, they eat tomorrow. Real traditional Cambodian living. Angkor Wat's the biggest religious building, and then Angkor, the area, is the largest religious like compound ever built in the history of the human race. It's one of the most amazing places ever. But that's the people that will come to the Cambodia clinic. Now, if you go to the Thailand, it'll be a whole different demographic people that would come to Thailand, because there's a lot of partying, there's a lot of nightlife, there's a lot of trouble you can get into. So I suspect that the people that come to, say, Bangkok, if we do a seminar in Bangkok or Siem Reap or something, it's going to be people that are going to want to go out and party and dance and drink at night. Nothing wrong with that. It's not my scene, but I certainly would not do an event there. But if I offer both, then you're going to get two different groups of people that can both come find the stuff that fits with their vibe, which is something I want to do. Sorry, that wasn't even an answer to your question, but that's what I'm planning on doing. Right now, next month is Scotland, 3-day retreats. Message me for details. All right, so that is all the questions that are coming in. If there's no more questions, I will go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to give one more. And by the way, if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot them over. But other than that, I hope everybody checks out Stokely, and that's ELY, StokelyDiscGolfMethod.com. That's where you're going to read about my multi-day retreats. I just announced Scotland next month. Only 4 people per weekend it caps at 4 people per group. So if you're interested in coming to Scotland, check out plane tickets. You're going to probably be shocked at how cheap it is now at this time to get on a plane and fly a few hours to Scotland. And but get your ticket. Like, these are going to sell out for sure. Everything I do sells out. And then if you want to do my 6-month online class, go to scottstokely.net and you can just click on the instruction and you'll see, become a complete disc golfer. It's the name of the class. Unlimited number of form reviews. It's so proud of this online class. It's really effective. It's not just videos to watch. It's actual interactive classes, interactive live stream Q&As, interactive. You're sending videos, getting feedback and instruction. Basically, you're getting the exact same instruction as if someone's standing right there in front of you. It's just because it's online, there's going to be time lags. You upload a video, a couple hours later, someone gives you a reply, then you take the video, and then you have to wait, the next day before you can get some time away from work to go try the stuff they said. But fundamentally, it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be the exact same thing you'd get if you were in person. It's just it's online, so there's going to be time lags between things. That's all. All right. If anybody has any questions, if not, I'm going to wrap it up. and I hope everybody who's interested in the Scotland retreats signs up, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to be much better at disc golf if you come out. All right, thanks everyone.